Pretty sweet, huh? What do you guys think? Craftsman 6.25. It's a gummy powered 21-inch high mulcher. Big tunnel. Made in USA. Super classic. I did this one for our customer. She's up the block. Oh, years ago. A couple years ago, maybe? A year ago? Anyway, she's having some issues with it. Could be the cable. Could be it's not starting because of the cable here. Notice that this is one of the ones where it uses a cable that goes all the way over to the right-hand side. That's a much longer cable, see? Could be. Could be this junk in the carburetor. She said she tried taking some stuff apart to see if she could get it going. Put a plug in, I think a fresh air filter. That's good. We're gonna check all that. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna blow it apart. The first thing is I like to check the gas tank. We're gonna suck it out, get the fuel out of there, and search for water and see if there's any water in it. And we'll take the top off and all of that. We'll take the blade off. We'll pull the hubcaps off. We'll give her a good wash. Probably just with the electric pressure washer. We don't need it. It's not really dirty. We don't need anything crazy on this. Get this off. Get the wheels off, clean in there. We'll get everything cleaned up, and we'll bring it back up. And we'll do our troubleshooting and put everything back together, and it'll work. But we're not in the shop today. Well, one, because it's beautiful out, a little humid, but also I got a lot of stuff going on in here. So I figured, well, let's just work outside. Isn't this beautiful? That's Big Mike's. Hey, Mike. So we're getting there. I just got to take a quick detour. Oh, here's the fuel. It looks a little old, but there's no water. Well, you can't really see it, but there's just a little bit of schmutz in the tank. We probably just sucked it out. It's looking good. Oh, she looks good. She's just a little dirty. She's in good shape. So there's a contact in here we want to be observing of. It could be that maybe the cable isn't pulling it all the way in. Could be the coil is bad. We don't know. Everything looks good. I checked the oil. The oil is very good. It's relatively clean, and it's almost full. It's not leaking, so it could burn a little bit for its age. This is one of the nicer in the series. See this little clamp here? Right, that holds down the dipstick so you can take all this apart. Well, they stopped doing that. Yeah, cheap out, save $1.
Oh, think with your dipstick, Jimmy!
It's pretty clean underneath here. So you could do this with a scraper and a hose, but oh my God, look at the size of that. Is that a roach or something? What is that, a cricket? What was that? It just came out of here. Could be a gigantic cricket. I'm thinking maybe that's bent. I mean, the deck is different here, right, than from back here. So we'll have to kind of look at that there. Just be careful, I disconnected the plug. Look to see about how much clearance is there. You know, it's about my knuckle, just for a quick look. Yep. That's a problem. That blade is bent. Okay, so she hit something.
Ding, ding, ding! What do we have for her, Johnny?
So we might want to look to see if she spun the key on the crank. We'll get to that in a bit. That's our first indication somebody hit something. Now see, this one's getting a little mashed up, but it's still in good shape. And bearings, fellas, bearings, actual bearings that you can clean and lubricate and replace. They were made to last, and this is the heavy duty. Anyway, thanks Super Clean for helping out. We're just gonna put a little bit of Super Clean on everything, go walk away for about 10 minutes, take a break, come back, give it its final wash, and we're gonna have the beauteous, looks good. Later on, we'll come in here, we'll go take a look in there, make sure the carburetor's all nice and clean and everything. Probably just need to just check for tight if she had it apart and pull the bowl down and take a peek in there. But yeah, we need to get in here and check the key. They usually don't break, but look, we're gonna give it its full check. I'll see you guys in a bit. Touch of foamy. Let's let it sit, walk away. Come back, and it's done. Just rinse it. Thanks, Super Clean. Super Clean. Get yours now. This is the old blade, and I found a nice blade. Look, see? Okay, here. Oh boy, there's a holiday. Now these are heavy blades. I mean, they don't make them like this really anymore. So this blade's no good. I'll show her. Now this is one that I had for a while. It's not bent or anything, but it was too heavy on this side and I kind of gave up. I grabbed another one. So it's all painted and ready to go, but it was a little too heavy. So I turned it to like kind of like half a gator. That's one of the nice things about the gator blades. Like if you need to resharpen and balance a gator blade and it's a little out, you can just cut the slots a little bit deeper on one side. So this would be fine, right? Because this is budget. So, you know, people don't have the money and they don't want to spend the money. It's an older machine and I can now finally use up this older blade that's actually in very good shape and ready to be put on now. That was a quick tune-up. All right, check it. Doesn't look like the crankshaft is bent because poking around, I'm taking a look at it. So while I'm up here, I'm going to put a little oil, a couple of spots, and flip it around the other way just to get this mechanism a little bit, you know, wet with some oil. I put it before I put the wheels on. Wheels are just temporarily on. I want to get back here on that actuator for the clutch. It's like transmission and clutch. And we'll flip it around. That's the plug she put in. It's some Champion. Not sure if it's the right one or not, but we'll take a look. It doesn't seem like, I think she stripped the threads. I don't know. Let me take a closer look at it. Same kind of thing. We'll just get some, let it druze in. And again, I'm trying to get this mechanism. We want it to move well. All right, I'm just going to run that cable and just check for actuation. This one doesn't tighten the belt. The belt's already tight, and there's a bit of a spring load on it, but it turns this actuator here. I see the cable's a little damaged, but it's working. All right, that's with the bail pulled back. Let me set up for a spark test. Now you're not going to see it, but the bail's pulled back. I'll yell it out. It should spark. Yep, and there's junk in there. And we have spark. So what we want to do now, we want to get more of that out. So I'm going to spin it over and put some of my tranny sauce in. Now that water could have came from us, but these things get left out. Let me spin it over a little more. All right, now what we want to do is put some of our tranny sauce in. And then put a used plug in. Just thread it in lightly. And that'll push the transmission sauce. It's half tranny fluid and gas, and it'll push it, no spark. It'll put breakers off, okay, so we can spin it. And it'll push that through around the valves, the rings, and back out. Some of it's going to come out here on the exhaust. All right, and then we're going to blow that. See, it made it all nice and wet. We'll blow that with high pressure air in a minute. What I want to do is I want to turn it upright and check on the carburetor to see if it's clean enough. And I want to pull this off too. I want to pull off the top. It looks like it might be damaged. It's very hard to tell, but something does not look right in there. Because it's not like on the Briggs, you can't really see it. In which case, this motor could be shot because it can be very difficult to get these off when they do that. And this one has a puller that uses 3 holes, not 2. I may have something for that. Let me go look. All right, what I want to start off with is I'm going to use 1/4 20. And I'm going to start off with a cutting tap first. And just kind of get this in there. And then we'll finish up with a bottoming tap. Now you can use a 1/4 24, that's more common, but I just use the 1/4 20. I'll try to get this in straight. This one is not very deep. So some of these, yeah, this is an older one. So you're gonna have to go in with a bottoming tap, which is what I have here, and then consistently blow it out. So we don't have a lot to work with. Yeah, this is the right way. Otherwise you'll strip it out. Because this cutting tap, it's got too much material that just doesn't do anything. We don't have enough depth on this. So I'm going to go through all of these, tap a little bit till it stops, take it out, blow it, put it back in again, and then we'll find some bolts for it. I have some bolts for this puller. Yeah, when I look this way, I can tell she spun it. And that's such a heavy blade. So that's why it won't start for her. But everything else looks good. You can use the regular tap to start it, but just for a couple of threads. And we want to steel. See, there's some more meat there. There we go. All right, let me finish up. Break off. Here, let me grab my glove, because you don't want any friction here. There we go, brothers. No damage. Okay. All right, well, it looks like it's okay. These are offset keys. Well, hold on, I'll get you in closer. It did take a bit of a tweak. Hey, see the step? It got tweaked a little bit. I'm gonna pull it out and inspect it. Clean that area off a little bit. Same thing with the flywheel. It looks like it's okay. Sometimes they get cocked, but we've done our due diligence. Clean this up, we'll put it back. The key is slightly twisted. You're probably not gonna see it, but I can see it along this axis. It's just slightly twisted. If I try to bend it back, it might break. But I don't know if I have another one. We may have to take one off of a donor motor, which one might be around here. I'm gonna have to set up with that. Let me go see what I can find. I don't have too many of these, but I do have motors like this. I cleaned this one up here, but that one looks a little beat, and it's got a twist in it. You might be able to see it, but it's got a twist, and that can be enough. I have one of these used ones left. I do have other engines. Now I know I got to start grabbing some more of these. So I have a few around. I mean, I don't do that many of these machines anymore, but it's just good to have. Now keep in mind, these are tapered. So at the top, they're a little bit narrower, and then they get a little wider at the bottom. And that way you can get it on. It won't go on any other way. So I think we're okay. Let's put this together. Yeah, it slid right on. I took a little file to that key, if you notice, a smooth file, just to make sure there were no burrs on it or anything. Let's button it up. Yeah, I think the carb's got to come off. There's a lot of dirt in it. So, a couple of things going on at once. So we got to get this cleaned up. Let me take the carb off. I'm going to pull the tank off real quick, but if she took it off here, I don't know. She might have just took the bowl off. But you want to look here. So this rod here, that looks like it's bent over that way too far. That could have been something. We're going to need to check that. And so this is coming to the top. The bottom comes over to the carb itself and the throttle, and it's in the furthest hole. And it might be correct. So the furthest hole. And we'll see. We got to take this off. I find this the easiest way. Looks good. And I might have to get my vice grip. Forgot it. No, we're okay. I've had it off, so put all my bolts in my little tool tray. Oh, we gotta get that off. Hold on. Bring it over on the table for a quick clean and reassembly. That way we know. Hopefully I don't need to do the gasket. Yeah, it's coming off. Yeah, there's a bit of muck in there too. And the gasket looks like it's a little broken. We're going to want to replace that gasket. She may have taken it off. So there's some oil and muck in there. So we'll get that cleaned out too. And I'll make a new gasket. I don't know why I don't have any of these gaskets. But yeah, let's go do that. I'm just going to do it quick. I'll be back. I want to take the emulsion tube out and the idle jet. Because it doesn't look bad. We probably could have just sprayed some gum out up in here because I've already had this thing apart. But I don't want to go back in here. So when we put it back together, I'll make a gasket for it. Everything looks pretty good because I've already resurrected this machine. So this is one of the ones that was thrown out, and I resurrected a while back and sold it. And, you know, probably got decent money for it. Jet is kind of soaking a little bit of gum out. This looks good. Let's check it. It's a little bit big. Now, to help it, the tranny sauce does a really good job. People don't realize it, but transmission fluid is designed for O-rings to keep them at the correct size. It will not blow it up. It will, if you leave this sit, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take like a lid. Yeah, what you can do is if you want to help it out and you have time and it's in good shape, you just wet it like I just did, just a scotch more, just a little bit, like in a tuna can. See what I'm doing? Just a little bit, and then you leave it overnight. And I guarantee you come back, it'll be sweet. All right, so let me pull out the emulsion tube. Now, to get the emulsion tube out, we're gonna have to take this guy out. So, because I can't get in there to really knock the emulsion tube. I might be able to. Let me see. Oh, half of my tools are outside now. You're probably gonna hear the fan from the AC going. If I can just get in there and give it a tweak to push it out. Yep, that's it. Now, if it doesn't want to come out all the way, we'll have to push it back up again. I can see it there. It doesn't want to come out yet. Hold on. There's a couple of different picks you can use. That's why it's easier if this plastic piece is off, because I can't really get in there. I also can't see. There it comes. Just steady pressure. There we go. And the other O-ring came out too. She looks good. Yeah, she's in good shape. We'll just blow that quick. And I also see she's missing the piece that goes on there, the clip. So somebody was in here. So it's a good thing we went in here, because without that clip, that's no good. So we got to get another one. Here's what she's missing. It's that clip. Usually I use these clips and you can poke through. Right, see? Clean that out, and we'll hit it with a little bit of gum out. Right, and then there's a little one on the side. There it is, see? So that's what that's for as well. All right, we're good there, and I want to find a new one of these because I like to keep them. And so we could blow through that. And I already blew through some of this. It doesn't look bad underneath these baffle covers, as best you can. And then I'm going to use low pressure air, a few pounds. All right, and put it back together. So I'll see you guys in a few. I want to be real careful with the emulsion tube. The only thing you use on this is either my tranny sauce or two-stroke. Don't use gum out. All right, gasket surface all burnished and clean, sprayed out. All right, we'll compress air. That looks good. Blew out in here. And because it is a paper gasket, I'm going to put some former gasket, aviation former gasket on that. All right, let's snap it together. All right, don't use a banger gun on any of this stuff. Especially these, you'll break them. So that looks about right. And we'll find out. Let's put the top on. I'll blow out the tank with some high pressure air. Check the plug, we'll get some fuel in it. We'll give it a test. All right, almost ready for a test. Fuel's in it. We use her oil, which seemed, like I said, seemed okay. The plug gap was good, and put it back in. The gasket was not seated because people feel like they're going to strip it out. You got to keep going a little bit. Put a little no-sees on the threads. In here, wiped it out, blew it out, and you got to take a screwdriver and go into these teeth, especially on that other side where there was a lot more gack. Remember? So I did that, blow it out, wipe everything down. I had put oil in these areas, move everything around. I did that earlier to chase out the water, and a little oil into these bearings. And then I just followed up with a bit of chain wax in there, blow it in, turn it, the other side as well. A little chain wax and everything there. Move this back and forth. pick the junk out, touch of grease, just a touch of grease. It'll all walk its way in. Let's put it together. We'll do the backs tomorrow and do the oil change and everything because it's like 7 o'clock. We have a couple other things to do, so let's give it a test. All right, here we go. We'll prime it up good. It's gonna smoke a little. I'm gonna get some more of these primers. Well, we may have a no spark. It could still be flooded out. Might want to pull the plug again. Yeah, that plug was wet and not with fuel. There's still water in it, even though I blew it out. We'll hot shot and we'll put a different plug in. It's a new plug, but it's not really the right one. But it'll work. If it works. Let's find out what's going on. Pull back. There we go. Woo! I'm gonna let it warm up a bit. That sounds healthy.
Hours later.
All right, warmed up. Oh yeah, oh, a little stripies, just a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of common. It smells a little. I mean, it's older. It's probably oil I put in it. All right, let's let it drain. We'll set it up with a nice oil package. All right, I'm going to start with about 16 to 18 ounces because you're never really sure how much you get out. And these, I forget what these motors take. They don't take very much. Little Rotella 1540 T5. It's got the blend. It's a truck oil. So it's going to have, you know, some zinc and stuff in there. This is the stuff that you can't put in a regular passenger car oil. And that'll be 1030. And I generally don't like to put adders in, but this I don't mind. She's a little older motor. I don't want to go too thick, so it's a bit of a mix. We'll take about this much or so, and you know, 3/4 of it'll be this, the 1030. So we don't want to stray too far away. You're never really sure. Best thing to do is to try to go with an oil that is the correct for your application. Now, it's real hot right now. This is the heat of the summer. It gets real hot, but you know, the beginning of the year and the end of the year, it gets kind of cold. So we don't want to wind up with anything too thick. 1540 is a little too thick for all year use. If it was more just going to be in the summer, this would be fine for an older motor or a motor that's blowing a little bit of smoke. Maybe using a little bit. I noticed it did use a little bit, but not very much. It doesn't seem to be leaking. So that's why we're going to go with the mix. Let's get it in. Let's get this package in and we'll finish it up. All right, these are going good. I lubricated them. I actually put oil on them after I wash. Little chain wax is always nice to finish up in there. Move it around. Now these wheels are the bigger in the back. Kind of hot roddy. No bearings though, but they're heavy duty wheels and you can tell, look at them, they're just beautiful. So we want to get a little grease on there, keep everything moving for years to come, at least until the next service. And I'll get the hubcaps back on. We got a couple little more things to do and I'll be right back. Okay, we got oil in it, we got a little bit more gas in it, we got everything lubricated, we got her plug back in. Carburetor's been going over, a fresh air filter. I think we're good to go.